Hello! Welcome back to this kinda spooky edition, but it's also sci-fi thriller, because it's that time of year. It's just about that day. I wanted to talk about this movie, not the other movies that everyone always talks about. I want to talk about the one that nobody talks about. Or when they talk about it, they talk about how terrible it is. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Is that movie really that bad? Is it as bad as everyone says? I've seen this movie a ton of times, especially in the past week. I watched it like 4 times. Let's get into it. Halloween 3 was released October 22nd, 1982. It was shot in California, yes. They actually repurposed one of the factories to look like the Silver Shamrock factory. But whenever they did the fires and all the explodey stuff, that was on a stage. They didn't actually start fires in the actual factory. I know, lame. And this movie is only 98 minutes long. 98 minutes, just under 100. I feel like that's always a bad sign. Okay, so the biggest issue with this movie is it's a Halloween titled movie. Number 3. So after number 2. That's how counting goes. Thank you. You're welcome. But this one does not include Michael Myers, our favorite Shatner masked villain that just walks around and stabs people in a little town. Not there. So it starts with a very unassuming, very simplistic opening. Just all the orange, and then the orange getting deleted. And then, oh my god, it's a pumpkin! With some really, really ominous music. So it starts. A guy is running from the guys from Galaxy Quest, and he's holding a pumpkin mask. And he's running and running, gets to a gas station. A gas station attendant, running away guy, gets to the gas station, pretty much just falls on top of the attendant. And then passes out. Takes him to the hospital because he's such a nice guy. We are introduced to our main character. He has the build of the Tasmanian Devil or a refrigerator. So he goes to see his kids, gets him the terrible mask. He doesn't get him the good mask.
What's the matter? Don't you like them?
Not the Silver Shamrock ones.
Silver Shamrock!
That we already saw the ad for, and then we see another ad, and then the kids sing it, and then they watch the ad. That's terrible.
4 days to Halloween.
From 2 inches away. They're just like, Silver Shamrock. You can kind of tell that they're not together anymore, because she's looking at him like, what is this dick doing in my life right now?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's bad timing.
I'm used to it.
Kids are happy to see him, so they obviously don't see him often.
Nice try.
Then he gets paged, has to go to the hospital for an emergency. Think that's why. He's always working. What a dick. So he gets to the hospital, paging Dr. Refrigerator, and he meets up with Heart Attack Guy. He then lays on the couch to take a nap because he's tired. It takes a lot out of you, storing foods and keeping them cool at the same time. And then being a doctor on top of it? Oh my god. Just when Heart Attack Guy thinks he's safe, creepy guy number 2 from Galaxy Quest comes. He sneaks into the room where there's no one watching him because I guess nighttime, no one's there. And then tries to take his mask off. Except, it's not a mask, it's his face. He just pulls his face up, and it just like... And the guy dies, obviously. He starts just wiping his hand creepily on the curtain. He's just like... Until the nurse yells at him to leave.
What are you doing in here?
So he leaves, walks back to his car awkwardly. He finds out he's terrible at drinking. He goes to light a cigarette that he doesn't have. Turns into a doll. And then the car explodes. Cool. Next day. Murder guy's tiny daughter
Is that it?
is there. She's sad.
Bet.
That's all that happens that day. Next day. Mr. Dr. Refrigerator gets someone to check on the ashes.
Eddie, just do me this one favor.
The next day. That's all that happens that day. He's in a bar watching kids' cartoons. This is the first thing that you see that Michael Myers exists, but as a movie. It's just a movie in this world. This universe that they made. And then, the jingle again. Yes, Silver Shamrock. Hell yeah. Tina Girl shows up at the bar,
Hello.
and Mr. Fridge is scared. He doesn't know what the hell's going on.
I don't know what the hell is going on.
So then, Mr. Fridge and Tina Girl team up to solve the case. Because, you know, when normal people try to uncover a major conspiracy, what could go wrong? So then they go to a store, and she has all of her dad's info.
My father kept excellent records.
Whereabouts, where he was this time. Where he was this time. And it was before Foursquare, so you couldn't just check in. He wasn't like, hey, I'm getting some froyo. So then they go investigate where he was. And then you hear the ad again. So they go to the home of
And Santa Mira.
Silver Shamrock. Show the sign. And everyone in this town is like super obvious, like Nilbog weird. And there's security cameras that's just recording the no cars in the streets, because it's literally only him and her in the same car. That's it, no one else. So they get a hotel room, he runs away, he tries to run off the movie set, but he makes the wrong turn and ends up in the office of the hotel. Then he finds out that the dad was staying in the same hotel. Oh my god. This would be interesting if the story was interesting. And then he just throws money down on the counter. On the way back to the room, he almost gets killed twice. He almost gets killed by a flying bike and some crazy lady who doesn't know how to hit the brakes. There is work that needs to be done. But
Oh, hold on, slow down. It's getting late. I could use a drink.
it's getting dark out, so let's just not do anything. And the fridge has to plug in to recharge for the night. You then find out that the town has a curfew.
It's 6 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock. Curfew.
So you see everyone like locking their doors and covering the shutters and pulling down the curtains, and it's like, okay, cool. There's no one outside anyway, even in the daytime, so why a curfew? So Mr. Fridge goes to the store. Even though no one else is out, 0 people are in. So I don't know how we got help in the store, because if there's a curfew, no one would be at work because you wouldn't be able to leave your job because there's a curfew. So then he runs into Mr. McHomeless Man, and you find out that Cochran, the owner of the company, only did external hires,
But in every damn one of them factory people from the outside.
never hired anyone from the town. He also tells you
He's watching you, friend, I guarantee you that.
then Mr. Homeless goes home to his crate and whips up some hobo specialty. Wonder Bread and cheese in a can. Hell yeah. Then the Galaxy Quest guys come and rip his head off. Like, no effort. They're just like... And then the most terrifying part of the movie happens. They have sexy time. Yeah, it's pretty strange. Well, because one, it's like a fridge laying on top of pipe cleaners, but on top of that, isn't it weird, like, the way they met is because her dad was murdered and they're both investigating this, like, conspiracy. So, like, her dad's face was almost ripped off, and he's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna get me some of that. Is that what you tell your kids? How did you meet mommy? Well, funny story, Billy. Your mom's dad, his face got ripped up, and we went to investigate a giant conspiracy out in a town Silver Shamrock factory is located. And it was just love from there. And Billy would be like, what? How did he die? The lady that didn't know how to use the brakes, she finds a little token and then accidentally activates it, and she gets a mouthful of blue. There's a bunch of goons going to her room, and they're like, oh, we're gonna take care of her. And then Cochran comes out and he's like, everything's gonna be fine, guys.
It's all over, my friends. Just a small accident.
We're gonna take her to the factory. We're gonna take super special care of her. Everything is going to be fine, we assure you. And they're like, okay, cool. Next morning, here's someone look up Cochran.
Listen, Teddy, do me another favor. Will you find out everything you can about Connell Cochran? He runs Silver Shamrock.
And then right after that, they cut off a Mack truck. For no reason, they just cut it off. They couldn't just let it go for some reason. They go to pick up the order that was missing.
Mr. Grimbridge himself picked up that order on the 21st.
They confirmed that he picked it up, that he was there. And then the Weasleys go on a factory tour.
So this is Buddy Kupfer and his lovely family.
And they're like, let's go on a factory tour too. Great. So they all go on a factory tour. Weasleys, Mr. Dr. Fridge, and Little Miss Pipe Cleaners.
How would you like a guided tour?
My friends come along?
Oh, yes, I was just about to ask them. If you'd like to.
Guided tour with Cochran, the man himself, Mr. Silver Shamrock. And Cochran just laughs the whole time. He's like,
Whoa.
that's all he does. He says like 3 words and it's just him laughing. Halfway through the tour, Mr. Fridge notices something suspicious.
Where's little Buddy?
Oh, there it
Just random people just standing there like this.
is, running down.
They're just standing there, just not moving. And he's like, okay, cool.
Darling, I think it's time we were going.
They start leaving in a direction that they didn't come from. They came from the building. They're just walking through like the parking lot in the back.
I just saw a couple of men who looked strangely familiar.
You know, it's obviously like where the trucks move and all that shit. They forgot to put the tarp over the car. She spots her dad's car and she's like, I know that car from anywhere.
Oh my God.
What?
That's Papa's car.
She really keeps her cool. And then they obviously know something's going down. They bail.
I'm scared. I think we should leave.
That song plays again. Get back to the hotel. He's like, pack your stuff. Then he goes to try to call. The phone doesn't work. Then he's like,
Operator, this is an emergency. I want to...
Sorry, we cannot complete your call as dialed. Please hang up and...
One more day to Halloween. One more day to Halloween. Super Shamrock. One more day to Halloween.
Yes.
oh no. Goes back to Twiggy. She's gone. Even her bag's gone too.
Allie!
And he notices the band's here. And they are pissed. Back to the factory for the easiest sneak-in ever. Under the giant hole in the fence that a fucking bear could climb through. He's just sneaking in the building like, hey, I'm playing on easy mode. No one's gonna detect me, no matter how loud I am.
What was that noise?
Somehow manages to sneak through the top window. Bam, he's in the factory, just like that. Easy peasy. Then he finds some old lady. And he like whispers at her.
Where is she? Where is she?
And her head falls off.
Where is she?
Fist fight time. And he keeps punching him. He's punching, he's not doing anything. Murders one. And they're filled with like the orange juice concentrate. Syrupy, gloppy, delicious. All your day's calcium in one cup. But then he runs out of stamina and just completely stops moving. He's just like... He goes full, like, ragdoll. And then he tries to move and he's like, nope. Still no stamina. And then they drag him outside. Cut to Halloween Day. It takes him a whole night to drag him outside. Because when he goes into the factory, it was nighttime. Maybe like 30 minutes went by between everything that happened. Tops. And then it takes him till morning when they get outside. And then Cochran just starts telling him everything. Full supervillain mode. Where he's like, I'm gonna monologue and tell you everything. So he's pretty much just like, yeah, I made these robots. We're like almost full on Westworld. Look at him sneeze.
Bless you. Convincing, aren't they? Loyal and obedient, unlike most human beings.
Realistic, right? He can't sex them, though. Yet. They find his giant lab. Except the room that everything's in is way too big for the amount of computers. He should really order some big fancy like villain supercomputers from Amazon. Get that Prime 2-day free shipping. And then the big reveal.
Stonehenge.
Stonehenge. The source of the magic in every mask. Every mask! Not just some. In every token is a piece of Stonehenge. He stole a chunk of Stonehenge, found out there's some like wizardry or witchery behind it, and is like, hey, I know what I can do with this. I can murder all the children. He then demonstrates the power of the chip. Still during his like supervillain monologue, he sends the Weasleys into this one room that's kind of decorated like just an old school room.
Television commercials or something.
So instead of just like a TV on a stand in like the middle of a warehouse, they decided to decorate and furnish this room just to murder people in it. But I guess it's supervillains, they always go full 100%.
Kids with silver shamrock masks, gather round your TV set. Put on your masks and watch.
Honey, don't get too close. You'll ruin your eyes.
Jack-o'-lanterns, gather round.
It starts to get all seizure time. Ron falls down. His face kind of starting to melt into bugs and snakes. And then the bugs and snakes come out and murder the dad. And Mom just falls down and dies of shock. All the Weasleys are dead. And yet the Ed still plays for like another 30 seconds. Okay, so let's talk about this a little. So Cochran makes a mask company that then become the most desired masks in the world, with only 3 varieties of masks. 3, that's 6. 3 for at least this year. Maybe he changes them up. I don't know. They don't talk about that. Yeah, like last year's masks were like this. You do see other masks when they do on the guided tour. He starts a company, becomes the #1 mask factory, Silver Shamrock. He then steals Stonehenge to put a piece of Stonehenge in every mask that he sells to murder all the children. That is some next level supervillain shit. And he's even got the whole monologuing thing too. He's like 100% Cochran, supervillain. No question. And then guess what? The song plays again.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
And it's that montage. They show you all the kids wearing the masks.
It's almost time, kids. The clock
Oh, those kids have them too.
marathon. And remember the big giveaway at 9.
Oh, look at them. They have it too.
Silver Shamrock.
Ooh, he's on a bike and has them.
The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Happy, happy Halloween.
They have them too. Great.
Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Oh, this town too? Cool. There's that one kid that like thinks he's cool. He's like, I'm gonna get a different mask. And he wears a different mask. And everyone makes fun of him. Until everyone else dies except for him. Who's laughing now, Timmy? Scientist lady from earlier figures out something fishy.
I've got something down here I'd like for you to look at.
But then one of the robots totally drills her. Then according to the movie, it's 7:30. So he's tied up and Cochran finishes his monologue. He says it's like a joke on kids.
Do love a good joke, and this is the best ever. A joke on the children.
But more than that, it's
You don't really know much about Halloween.
because of witchcraft.
The start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting.
It's like how Halloween is portrayed.
It's 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children. Sacrifices are part of our world, our craft. Witchcraft.
It's fucking ridiculous. So then Cochran gives him a free skull mask, hell yeah.
The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it.
And then puts on Halloween. He's like, hey, watch Halloween. The ad happens, the promo, giveaway, and then it murders you. But until then, you can watch Halloween. John Carpenter, hell yeah. Michael Myers, Jamie Lee Curtis.
And happy Halloween.
And a free mask. Cochran's not a bad guy after all. 2 adults. Then double kicks the TV, fucking Hagar style from Final Fight. Yeah. This is like the most perfect throw in the world. He like paws it, just and the mask flies onto the camera and perfectly covers the camera. Just a flip, just like. So then he sneaks out while someone plays the same two notes over and over again. Din, 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 din. Din, 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 din. Din, din, din. Then he takes the time, finds a phone, dials out of the building, which how does he know? Maybe they have to dial 9 first. Maybe it's a different number. Maybe it's dial like a little combo. But no, you just pick up the phone and he dials his ex-wife. Then tells her to shut up. Shut up!
Shut up, Linda, shut up.
And then hangs up. Then he finds Teeny Girl. Oh my god, let's go. How do they not see him? It's a moving rack. Even if you're doing stuff, if you're looking down, you see this giant rack of masks just start rolling by? Or are you fucking kidding me? They run across the rest of the giant open warehouse with like only 3 things blocking it. Sneaks to the computer. There's no way. They're just people walking in circles. And he sneaks up to the one computer and he hits every single button. And it manages to make the promo play on every single TV in there. Then he runs up the stairs, grabs the box, throws all the coins down. They all just spark and kill all the robots. Great. He kills them all with sparks. So then Stoneheads charge up with all the fucking TVs playing it, and it just banishes Cochran. He just disappears. He doesn't like explode or turn into a skeleton and just fall to the ground or ashes. He just straight up disappears. So then everything sets on fire and explodes, and then the background turns into a green screen, and then they escape. They're driving, he's like, God damn. And she just is like, and then grabs his face. And then the car crashes. Right after the car crashes, he like slides out, like super weird. He's just like, whoop. Then he tire irons her. Then he does it again. Critical hit.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Then he runs away. He runs down just a dark road. I'm glad he knows where he is, because I don't know if he's ever been to this town. But it's fine. He just starts running. So direction, go. Dedication. That's how you do stuff. You don't stop and be like, where the fuck am I? You're just like, road, let's go. You're at the gas station from the beginning of the movie. Oh my god.
You're falling. Where's it's life and death?
This movie is a full circle like a pumpkin. Oh my god. It's so simple. It's like a pumpkin. And one of the masks is a pumpkin. Oh my god. So then he calls and he's complaining about the ad.
Say whatever you like, just get it off the air.
And he's like, get it off. And they're like, okay. And then some kids pull up right when, and they're just like, yeah, let's watch it in the masks and die. They don't know it, obviously. But they're just like, yeah, Silver Shamrock, this is the worst ad. He's yelling, he's like, go, go.
Prove it. You've got to believe me. Believe.
Change the channel. Get it off the program. And then Channel 1 gets killed.
Please stand by.
It's time.
Then the kid's like, no, man, changes it to 2.
Please stand by.
Dark masks.
And he's like, no, it's on the next one. Get it out of here.
Third channel, it's still running. Stop it, please. For God's sake, please stop it. There's no more time.
And he goes to the next one.
Stop.
And that one
Stop.
doesn't
Stop it.
go off.
Stop it.
And then he looks at the camera and does this final dramatic, stop it!
Stop it.
The end. So John Carpenter wanted this movie to be like part of an anthology series. He didn't want it to just be Michael Myers slasher movies. He wanted it to be like Twilight Zone-y, for you kids out there, Black Mirror, where every movie would just revolve around Halloween, but involve different characters, story, all that shit, and just be weird shit. And they had plans for more movies. They already had some ideas. But because this movie only made $14 million in the fucking box office, which is atrocious when the other ones made It also got a 4.8 on IMDb. Actually, not that bad. I've seen some garbage movies that have like a 7. So, because of all the problems with this movie, they decided to ditch the sci-fi thriller adventures, and 6 years later they made Halloween 4, which, I mean, was okay at best. If you disagree, let me know. Let's talk about it. So even though this movie is constantly like shit on or just ignored, if you really think about it, this movie is way more fucked up, like light years more fucked up than both the first two Halloween movies. Because the first two Halloween movies, how many people did Michael Myers actually kill? Compared to Cochran, even though he died, he technically failed, but he still succeeded. Because Mr. Fridge only got 2 of the 3 channels to not run the ad. And how do you know that was only for that town? Because can you call and just be like, pull the ad from everywhere ever? Wouldn't it get distributed to like other like broadcast networks in the other areas surrounding where they showed all the kids with the mask? They were all fucking dead. And their families are all dead. Because the snakes bite you, and apparently you just die instantly. Giant mass children murder, or a bunch of teens and a few adults get murdered. Well, no, not a few. A decent amount got murdered. But still, it was like the top selling masks for Halloween, and all the fucking kids had them. That's a lot of dead kids. And kids usually aren't the target in movies, especially horror movies. Just in general. It's just like kind of frowned upon. He was literally like, I'm gonna murder all these kids. For some fucking crazy reason. All because of witches too. He's like, witches. Hey, I'm gonna kill the kids. On top of that, he knows how to make fucking robots. He makes fully functioning robots. Like, yeah, they're pretty awkward, but goddamn, you gotta start somewhere. And like every main character died, except for Mr. Fridge. Because, do you think about it? His kids had masks. He called her, told him to not watch the TV. He told him to shut up.
Shut up.
She definitely didn't listen to him. The kids are dead, the mom got killed. You know that happened. The one doctor friend from the hospital, she got fucking murdered. Yeah, it was a pretty grim ending for Mr. Fridge. Mr. Dr. Fridge, sorry. When you really dig into it, it's pretty fucked up. And finally, the Silver Shamrock jingle is literally just London bridges falling down. Falling down. London bridges falling down. Silver Shamrock. Yeah, this movie isn't the best movie, but it's different. Like, it's super messed up when you think about it. But it has some of that cheesy charm. Like, it's bad, and I am personally very curious of what other ideas they had. Because if this was like the beginning of it, it's like, what are they gonna do next? As I prefer some other weird different shit instead of the same thing over and over. Because what do you do when you've done like 4 movies? You go to space. You do a movie in 3D. You go to Manhattan, which I guess is a thing. You have a baby with a doll. Or you have the same Final Destination over and over again. Or it's your cousin because she's jealous that you're famous and everyone feels bad for you because everyone got murdered. Yeah. Or you could just keep doing that. That's fine too. The real question of this video, do you really think this movie is that bad? And why? Like, I know it's not great, but we should try for something different. Cause, I mean, have you seen Scream 3? Or Halloween 8? Or Jason X? They are not good. Holy crap, please comment if you like Scream 3. I really want to talk to you. Because, oh my god, it's so bad. I'll take Season of the Witch over Scream 3, honestly. And of course, we all know, if this movie didn't have Halloween 3 in front of it, it would have been completely different. Like, yeah, it would still be like a cheesy sci-fi movie. Maybe less people would have seen it, but it wouldn't automatically start with, oh, no Michael Myers in this movie? Fuck this movie. Because it would just be some weird-ass cheesy sci-fi horror thriller movie, and that would be it. It would just sit on its own fucking galaxy and just be like, yeah. I think that was one of the biggest mess-ups. They didn't call it Halloween 3. It could have just been Season of the Witch or something else, not Halloween. I think Carpenter kind of shot himself in the foot with that, even though it was a cool idea, doing an anthology. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. At me, so we can talk about this. Did you like this movie? Do you hate this movie? Please let me know. And I will see you jerks later.